live in a world ruled by tyranny, where knowledge is suppressed and ignorance is glorified. A world where propaganda and misinformation travel the airways at the speed of lies. But in the midst of the violence and chaos, a great awakening is taking place. And as the media empires continue to collapse, a new network is forming. A network of truth. A network of courage. A network of awareness. Peace and greetings. You are now tuned into the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, where we examine current events, politics, health, finance, and topics of cultural relevance in America and throughout the world, while bringing you insightful interviews with guests that will both educate and inspire you. And now, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, ORRA the Informationalist.
Nothing like that.
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo.
My aura is a network full of awareness and gifts like ORRA, the Informationalist.
How you doing? How you doing?
Yes, peace and greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world. This is ORRA the Informationalist, and you're now tuned into a live bonus evening broadcast. I got my guest co-host, my brother from the same Heavenly Father, Brother Bond from the BOCC. And this is an installment of the Narcissism series. And yeah, it's about to get serious up in here, because I'm starting to really like the name that I've been given. I've been given the name the Narcissism Assassin, and we're about to assassinate these narcs for their toxic behavior. And we got this nice little hip hop beat playing in the background. And I really hope that brothers and sisters get to tune in live. If not, you can always download the show. Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, networkofawareness.com, iHeartRadio, and so many. And I appreciate all the brothers and sisters that have been using these platforms that we're on, like Pandora and GeoSavan and many, many others like Deezer. And I mean, the list goes on. We're on so many. So I appreciate the people that are actually downloading from all these different places. Keep it coming. Today's episode, I think, is episode 74, 75, 76. I forget. I might even make this a bonus episode. I don't know. But this is called Narcissism, the Wicked-pedia for toxic behavior. And we had to do this. I was very excited because narcissism is a big problem. It is a huge problem. It is a wickedness that is thriving throughout the world, especially here in the United Shenanigans of America. And we got to expose this demonic, wicked behavior, because this is a spiritual thing. Let's not get it twisted. Yeah, you got your psychology in it and all of that stuff and all these different terms and whatever. But at the end of the day, everything is spiritual, because everything comes from the Most High. And even though we're in these physical bodies, we're still spiritual beings having a physical experience. And there's a lot of things that we can't see with the naked eye. There's a lot of things going on around us right now. We don't even know what's going on. And there's spiritual warfare that's going on right now And it's the good versus the bad. These demonic angels, if you want to call them the fallen. And then you got the angels that roll with the Most High in Christ. And they're battling for our souls. And I'm going to actually have a guest that I'm going to do a series called Spiritual Warfare Series with a sister called Scarlett. And we're going to go deep into the whole spiritual warfare thing. But for right now, let's get into this narcissism, the Wicked-pedia for toxic behavior. Shalom, brother.
Hey, shalom, brother. Most High in Christ bless you and all the audience members wherever they are at throughout the world. Giving all praises to the Most High through Christ that we're here again, and take it away.
Where do I start?
Well, I mean,
let's read the description. Let's let them know where we're going to examine here today. And just some updates, brothers and sisters. I've been putting the links to my Cash App, my business PayPal for Network of Awareness links in the description box each and every time. So if you like to donate and want to support the Network of Awareness, we greatly appreciate it. All donations are accepted, whether it be $1, whether it be $5, $10, $1,000, whatever you can do. Also, on the description pages, if you notice, all of our social media links are here now. So we got the Spreaker, we got the Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and the other Facebook. I have 2. And one of them is my profile, all right, which is under Reggie Rivera. And then you have the other one that's for Network of Awareness, which is Or the Information List. It's all tied in together. This is what they didn't allow me to put my radio personality name onto a profile, which kind of sucks. Facebook is funny like that. The reason why I put the Spreaker link on there is because if you click on there and you follow me on Spreaker, you will get the notifications when we go live like we're doing right now. And that way you don't have to worry because it'll go straight to your phone or device that you're following us on, preferably your phones, but you can also follow us on your desktop, your iPad, and so on and so forth. So all praises to our Creator, the Most High, which inspires the very best in us every single day. Now, what we're going to do in this installment of the Narcissism series is we're going to examine a content creator who says that she has been diagnosed with narcissism and is sharing insight into the misunderstood personality disorder in a series of TikTok videos, which we'll play. Now, guess what her name is, Amon? Can't make this shit up.
Toxic Sister 1998.
No, her name is Lilith. Lilith.
Well, that ties in. Yeah. We come full circle, huh?
We come full circle. Brother, can you give them a little snippet, a little elevator pitch on who Lilith is in scriptures?
It's not in the scriptures, but
no, isn't she in the scriptures, Lilith? Or isn't she like a demon goddess or?
No, I believe you're talking about the one that was supposed to be Adam's first wife or something like that. Lilith is a female demonic figure in Mesopotamian and Judaic mythology, theorized to be the primordial she-demon and the first wife of Adam. According to legend, Lilith was banished from the Garden of Eden for not obeying Adam. Her name and personality are thought to be derived from the class of Mesopotamian demons called Lilu, feminine Lilitu or Leletu.
Interesting.
A cult associated with Lilith survived among some Jews as late as the 7th century CE. And we know that that's not in the Bible. The only thing about that is in the Bible, how it talks about how they left off from the knowledge of the Most High and went into worshiping these gods and these things that are no gods. So,
well, it's very possible. I'm just saying that it could be possible that even though she's not in the scriptures, she's in the scriptures. We just don't know about her because they got it somewhere hidden in some Vatican vault that's like 3,000 miles into the ground. Now, this is what it says. Lilith, the 24-year-old woman behind the account at Toxic Sea Waste Zero, can't make it up.
Awesome.
Shared in one video that she was, it says an account at Toxic Sea Waste Zero shared in one video that she was formerly diagnosed with narcissism in 2021, but didn't take the diagnosis seriously until a year later. Overall,
hold on. Wait a minute. First of all, just to prove we're not making this up, you can go to yahoo.com.
Oh, we're gonna go there, bro.
Like I did, and just search for 24-year-old woman diagnosed, and the article will come up. But she didn't even believe it. That's how full of herself she was. You go to a professional.
Well, I got all these links in the description box, by the way. So
okay.
The people will have access to this. So it says that overall, she identifies as being an oppositional, codependent narcissist.
Hold on,
with
bro.
Borderline personality disorder.
So that's her gender?
That's what she identified. You know, listen, man, listen.
What does, so she has to search for a unidirectional lone wolf introvert to mate with, to carry on her.
You know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm tempted to start identifying as a bank. You know why? So people can make deposits into my hands and into my pockets. I think that's what I'm going to do, bro. I think I'm going to go to wherever with Library of Congress, or wherever you got to do to change your name. I forgot what office you go to. And I'm going to tell them, start people calling me the bank, central bank. That's what I'm going to identify. I'm going to identify as a central bank, and all deposits are welcome. Free accounts all day. But you can only make deposits at this bank. There's no withdrawals. This is the insanity, bro. This is the insanity. You got people that are identifying as dogs, parrots, parakeets, woolly mammoths, whatever you could possibly think of. People that are identifying as all types of stuff. And this is only getting worse and worse and worse, because we thought it was bad with the they, them, and, all the other things that they came up with. And I'm talking about the alphabet gang. We thought it was bad when it got to that point. But now we got these psychological terms that people are now identifying as. So they're identifying with some form of personality disorder, to where now they're completely wanting you to see them as the personality disorder, which they don't really have to go to that great lengths for us to know that, because you will know it in their behavior. I feel like a lot of them, they paint their hair all different type of colors. Those are like markers. It's like, oh, okay, I know you got something wrong with you. I know you got something wrong with you. What does purple mean? That you're delirious, And this is, when you and I do these types of episodes, we piss a lot of people off, right?
Yeah, well, we're being narcissistic because as long as they're thinking about us, whether it's good thoughts or bad thoughts, they're thinking about us. So that's our little personal delving into narcissism. And I'm surprised I said that with a straight face.
You cannot make this up. You just can't. This is what we've come to, bro. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to even talk about a recent experience that I had. I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm going to leave that alone for another day, because I have compassion for these people. I really do. I know it doesn't seem like it, because I be cracking jokes on them. But the only reason I do crack jokes, brother, is because and some other brothers know that I battle with that anger spirit. And instead of getting angry, I rather just make it fun. That's what I do. That's how I cope. That's my coping mechanism to deal with the anger that I feel inside for this wickedness that I know comes directly from Satan. Why? What did you explain to me that you told me about the Baphomet? If you want to just reiterate on that.
If you look at the, it was, I forget what the guy's name was that drew the representation of the Baphomet in like the 14 or 1500s. And I'm not sure about the date, but it was at least 400 or 500 years ago. It was an entity that had the sexes merged. So it had male and female features. And a lot of times, people don't realize that, the religion, I'm not talking about mass religion. A lot of times religion is how you live your life. And there are a lot of occultists that believe in this merging of the sexes as a religion. So, when you have these feelings, feelings, you have to wonder if you're getting, is it just you, or are you being influenced and tempted to go into a religion? Because that's what the representation of their leader in their religion is, and it's no strike against them. I could be compassionate with anybody long as they're not an a-hole with me. But, the warning has to go out.
You from New York like me. Mm-hmm. So you ever heard of Brother Azra Kwesi?
I think so. I'm not sure.
He did a couple of videos back in the days when we had the whole VHS thing going on, where brothers used to actually do VHS, because even brothers from One West did that. He was around during the One West days. He was a brother that I think he's still alive. He's a brother that was educating people on the melanated men and women of antiquity according to Egyptology, like going into the tombs and stuff like that. And provided some really great information, you know what I mean? But one of the things that he showed within these tombs and articles that he covered is that they show these different Egyptian tombs, and a lot of, according to what he was explaining, and I'm just going to paraphrase here because it's been so long since I saw these videos. But in some of these tombs, they consider hermaphrodites spiritual, like up on the echelons of spiritual beings, right? So they actually showed them in their tombs that whoever was considered a hermaphrodite was considered like spiritual royalty, so to speak, because they had both sex organs. And he went deep into that and about how cultures war and all these things that was in Egypt and, what's the other time period? I always forget.
Babylon.
Yeah, but during Babylon, what's it called? Right before all that, I can't remember right now.
It's about the pre-Diluvian period before the flood, or
no, it's before Assyrian,
Sumerian.
Okay, yeah. So this was Babylonian. This was very Sumerian culture stuff too. But, I'm just bringing that up because there's a lot to this stuff. But at the end of the day, man, when you look at it from a common sense approach, and I'm not talking about I'm talking about from how nature and the order that the Most High has universally. The Most High has order in everything. Everything has order. Everything works in a particular process. And what does Satan do? He takes that process, perverts it, gives you the reciprocal, and completely corrupts it to where it no longer is operating in the essence in which it was created to operate in. And, some people are going to disagree when I say that all this identifying and, I want to do this with the same person and all of this other stuff when it comes to the alphabet gang and all the stuff that's being pushed with pedophilia, it's all a distortion. It's all corrupted. It's all wicked. It is wicked, wicked, wicked. Narcissism is starting to become, just with this article that we're going to cover, in a way, just like how they're pushing pedophilia, it's starting to become normalized. It's starting to become a culture of acceptance to where now, if somebody's an asshole or a piece of shit, they're going to be like, hey, I'm a narcissist. What do you want me to do? I need help. I can't help it. I'm a narcissist. And it's such a cop-out, bro. And when I read this article, let's pull up the article. Let's not even waste no more time with this.
Yeah, because it gets interesting because, it just leads to people detaching from themselves, and they get thoughts about what they feel and what they should be and stuff. And a lot of times the medical industry is right there to help and suck them dry as far as money. So it's just a lot of things that we have to be aware of, that when these things happen.
That's right.
And I don't think that's the 24-year-old that's in that picture right there, but
no, that's the doctor.
Oh, that was the doctor?
Yeah, this is the doctor that's talking first. I believe his name is, let me go back to the article. Yeah, this is Dr. Soho or Sojo. But before we even play these videos, right, let's read a little bit further than where we left off at. She explains that she had previously had experiences where she recently had experiences where former partners and mental health professionals had suggested that she might be narcissistic, but that it wasn't until a recent breakup that she really decided to examine herself. She says, and we're talking about 24-year-old Lilith, I finally had to be honest with myself about everything in my life was going the way it was, she said. Narcissism, or narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, describes people who exhibit a pattern of needing admiration and lacking empathy. And let me tell you, somebody that lacks empathy, I have a high level of empathy for people, even for people that I don't like, believe it or not. Sometimes even more, because I feel sorry for them. This thing, when people lack empathy, do you know what they lack, brother, in their life? Christ.
Love. Yeah, Christ. Yeah.
Okay, so check this out. Per the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the DSM-5. All right, now the DSM-5 is exactly that. Let's make a note of this. The DSM-5 used to consider homosexuality as a psychological disorder. And then in like the late 70s, it was switched. They took it out. All right, and they did the same thing with the trans thing and all of that. This is all manipulation, okay? It's all by design. And the DSM-5 really kind of sets the tone for these types of behaviors to become more normalized and acceptable, to where I understand we have to have empathy for people that have mental disorders. I think we all should have empathy for these types of people. But what happens is when you start taking it out of the mental disorder or leaving it in there, they find a way to pervert it by making you think that this is normal when it really isn't, because it comes from wickedness. This is demonic. There's demons that are operating in this. And I think that as a society, if we were to approach it more on the spiritual level and mental as well, with the therapy and all that, but also approach it on a spiritual level, we would be casting out a lot of demons or exorcising a lot of demons out of these people. Now, it says the debate over the etiology of the disorder. Some studies suggest people can have a genetic predisposition to it, while others point to childhood developmental experiences as the cause. And that's very true, because the narc that I was with, you know, she was sexually abused by some of her cousins. And I'm pretty sure that she had other types of abuse with her family, because her family was involved in witchcraft and all other types of stuff. So she's all messed up something types of special. So this does play a part in it, right? And this is why these people do need help, because everybody knows that if a child gets physically or sexually abused, that child is going to need a lot of therapy, even as an adult. And they should get all the therapy that they need so that they can be functioning spiritual beings having a physical experience in serving the Most High. Now, it goes on to continue to say that it's a very serious psychological disorder, but it's often misunderstood, especially since the term is thrown around colloquially to describe someone who acts arrogant or selfish in certain situations, which can mean people don't take the diagnosis as seriously as they might. Yes and no, because in actuality, it's much more than just people that are arrogant or selfish, because that's just one form of this thing called narcissism. Because if you go into the Wicked-pedia of it all, there's a lot of different types of narcissists. You got communal, you got malignant, you got covert, you got overt, you got the grandiose ones, which is the typicals. And you got many, many more, bro. Many more. This thing goes really deep. And what the two things that cross a lot of paths with some of these people, not all, because some have it mildly and some are more have it a more aggressive with the behavior. And when that happens, the two things that merge, or sometimes you get one and not the other, or both, is sociopathic behavior and psychopathic behavior. And some can have little trinklets of it, and some can have boatloads of it, you know, like Charles Manson, or that rapist from California, the dude that was a Satanist. I mean, there's all different types. Even, what's his name? The one that dressed up the clown, Gates. The one that killed all those boys and buried them, you know.
Yeah, Illinois, under his house. And then the other one I think was
Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy. The other one was Ramirez. Big time narc. And when you hear his interviews, he loves to talk about all these great things that he does for the community. And he's a vet. And see, these narcissists are master manipulators too. And this is my theory, because I was in a relationship with a narc short term. But the way they operate sometimes, I don't even think it's dumb. I think it's the demon in them. I really do believe that, bro. Because when you watch Devil's Advocate and you see how Al Pacino, who plays Satan, and you see how he can manipulate people and how they have certain demons on them,
they're very crafty people. And I don't think that craft comes from the actual individual. I think that a lot of times, especially if the child is raped and sexually abused, a lot of times that's when the demon takes over. That's when the demon kind of latches on their tentacles onto them and it starts to manipulate them. Because sometimes when they're talking and their eyes black out, I truly believe, and I've seen this firsthand, I truly believe that the demonic possession is now complete for a moment, and they act out in these behaviors. And we've seen it, brother, so many times, right? Where people go on these killing sprees and then they don't remember nothing. They're like, yo, you just killed 20 people, homie. And they're like, oh, really? I don't even remember that, because that demon took over. So you have anything to add before I continue on this article?
Well, it's a lot to comment on, but I'm just going to say real quick, it is that spirit. And this woman, she even said that, she didn't even believe it for a while because she was so caught up. But then after she broke up, that she decided to examine herself, and she had to take a look. A lot of people, they're so prideful in that narcissism and they rely on it so much that they won't take that look. And a lot of times when that urge comes up to be that way, they will they will choose to give themselves over to that wicked mindset and let it take over. And although they're in the driver's seat, their hands aren't on the wheel, because that MO, that method of operation, that modus operandi, the usual actions of that wicked spirit, that's who's controlling the steering wheel. So when you have like a lot of these murderers saying, well, you stabbed him 96 times. It was like I was outside my body. Yeah, you were, because you were so angry. You went into that murderous spirit and you let it take over. And you just step back and let it do the killing. And then when it decided to leave, now you're here with the bloody knife in your hand. And a lot of times, psychologists try to explain that stuff away, and lawyers take and try to advocate for lighter sentences or sentences in hospitals and stuff. But it goes back to the same thing that the Lord told Cain before he decided to go into that evil spirit and murder his brother Abel in the Bible. A lot of times these things, they are disorders and everything, but the decision has to be made to fight it. And you see when it's in here where she said, what did she say? She had to examine herself, had to be honest with herself about why everything in my life was going the way it was. And then she said, yeah, well, I really didn't know how to fight it, but I was aware that I was doing it. Well, yeah, that's the process that you have to start so that you can make that change. But a lot of times people are so prideful and so comfortable with being that way, they don't want to make that change. So they let that in when the situation comes up in their life where they can make a choice whether to do the normal narcissistic thing or to try to do right. They'll always side with that because they're so used to doing it, because they like it, because they're comfortable with it, and they don't want to move out of their comfort zone. They don't want to do that work. That was it.
This woman I used to deal with, that was a full-blown narcissist on multiple levels. One of the things she used to always say, I'm calculated. I'm very calculated. I'm a calculated person. I like to calculate things.
Well,
Now,
what is 14,174 divided by 13 then?
5,678 for
0.147 repeating decimal.
While you was talking, I came up with another title that we can do for a show, and it's called Narcissist, the Toxic Chess Player. And the reason I call it that is because they are toxic chess players. They're very calculated in they're thinking 5, 6, 7 moves ahead to bring you to self-destruction, to make you self-destruct, to make you go crazy when you're dealing with these people. They're going to try to make you lose your mind, and they're going to love it. They're going to revel in it. Every time they see you going insane and getting upset and they push your buttons, they toast, or they take their 40s and they pour some out in the ground for the brothers. Like they tap their 40s on the top. Like it's like a celebration for them. And they take great joy in this. Now I'm going to continue reading this article before we play this video with this doctor.
Okay.
It says it's a common misconception that to be a narcissist, is you must be self-unaware. Lilith said in one video, the moment that I recognized I was a narcissist, it's not like everything I was doing just magically went away. I was just aware that I was doing it. Okay, good for you. Get help for MPD can be difficult. Let me extend this. Especially since no medications are prescribed to help with the disorder. Well, maybe because you can't medicate a damn demon.
Not yet. Well, not this demon.
And the inflated, grandiose thought process of people with MPD can make it difficult for them to ask for help. You damn Skippy.
Yep, that's just what we were talking about.
There's so many of them out here. There's some that love being the way that they are. They love destroying lives. They feel alive when they destroy a life. It felt impossible. She's like, it felt impossible to me to not only admit that I was a narcissist, but that I was abusive in general. Lilith explained in another TikTok video. Check this out. My awareness as the years went on just kept opening up to the things I was doing. And this is Lilith right here. You could just tell by her eyes. Like when I look at that girl's eyes, it's just like, cuckoo, cuckoo. You know, that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm being mean. I don't know. Now, before we even go into her videos, before we even go into this, let's listen to this doctor. This is, what's his name? Dr. Fajia, whatever his name is.
Dr. Kojo Sarfo.
There we go. Dr. Kojo Sarfo is a mental health professional using social media to help others in need. Okay, great. Let's hear what he's got to say.
I think having social media and having these spaces where people can talk about their, experience in an authentic and vulnerable way, I think that's like the catalyst to helping people who struggle silently.
Let me read this stuff. It says how people in addiction recovery can navigate social media.
The one thing I would say is to be honest with yourself. You don't want to lie to yourself and, put yourself in a position to where you might, not succeed. So if you know where your triggers are, that's a good starting point. If you're able to communicate effectively, that's also very helpful because then you can let your family members and your friends know, hey, this is something that I'm working on. Enforcing those boundaries, I think, is a requirement in order to be successful.
Dr. Kojo Sarfo comments on how social media can be difficult.
So I think we have a tendency to compare ourselves to everybody else, right? And, when you're on social media, you have your highlights that you post and other people post their highlights. But nobody posts, the times when they're struggling. So if you're struggling and you go online, you're going to see people having fun. And it's going to make you feel like you're less than when, in all actuality, you might be doing very well.
He says, but it's not all bad. Okay. You know what I was thinking when I was watching this about the whole social media, because I've been covering this whole social media and it's really a major contributor to the rise of narcissism and this wickedness in the world. I'm starting to get the sense that social media it should be illegal. I feel like social media should start being banned because the way I'm looking at it, I'm like, what if, let's say, for example, what if we did away with social media? I think, and this is just me, this is how my brain works. I'm not saying this is a fact. I'm not saying that this should happen. I'm just saying, what if Facebook, YouTube, and I'm hearing an echo. I think you got something on your end where I can hear myself. I don't know if you could fix that, but yeah, I can hear myself. I think you don't have your headphones or I don't know, because I think the sound is coming out of your computer because I can hear it. But let me continue. What I don't want to lose this thought is basically what if we did away with social media? What if YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and all, in which they're trying to shut down TikTok, by the way. But what if we just shut it all down? I wonder if it would remedy and help people psychologically, a lot of these narcissists, recover quickly because they don't have access to this no more. And then we have to go back to actually dealing with each other in person on some one-on-one. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, that would take away my business. And I get all that. I'm just saying that what if we just did away with social media? Would it change the zeitgeist with the spirit of the times and the paradigm? Would there be a paradigm shift in people's brains and spirits to where they would actually recover and start having more empathy because they have to deal with people in person? They have to have more interaction. Because when you look at the pandemic and everything and this whole social distancing, to some degree, social media is social distancing to some degree. And it's interesting because it's like, it's the way Satan perverts things. The thing is called social media. So we socialize on this media, but we're socializing artificially through this technology. And yeah, we're having connections, but we're not having the true connection like we have when we meet each other in person and we're actually face to face. And this is just something I'm thinking about. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that this should happen tomorrow. I'm just, what if? What do you think, bro? Like, you think that things would change if they did away with social media overnight? You think there would start being a shift in people's consciousness?
Well, people would have to talk with each other and deal with each other and have interpersonal communication skills like in the 1991, 92. In the words of Greta Thunberg, how dare you?
All right, let's continue. I'm
just saying.
The good thing about social media, especially on TikTok, I've seen people talk about, their, journey and their sobriety and just their whole experience with, what happens if they start drinking again. And, you can type in the word like,
You see this, what he's doing right here? This is a big problem, and I know he's doing it for example. I'm hoping that he doesn't really do it in real life, but this thing with the whole taking a picture in the mirror, especially the when women like to show their body off and do the butt pose, with they arch their back. That in itself, if we did away with that, back in the days when we didn't have this technology to do something like that, people would just have to look into the mirror and deal with themselves, whatever they had to go through, whether they was like, oh, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, whatever, but they had to deal with themselves. Now they're looking into a mirror and they get to show everybody what they're looking at to get those responses. Oh, you look good. Oh, you look, like the guys that are all like buffed and they take a picture of their abs and their chests. And this is a big problem, man. A big problem.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I've done it. I think I've done it once or twice in my life where I actually took a picture in front of the mirror. And one of them I did it for a post, like for a cover for my podcast. And another one I did because a girl asked me to send her a picture of me, and this was the next best thing for me to send. And that was a long time ago. But this thing is toxic, like this whole looking in the mirror and taking a picture of yourself for everybody to see.
Mm-hmm.
Let's continue.
Recovery or sobriety on TikTok or Instagram. And then you have tons of people who are sharing their journeys. If you can connect with people, using electronic methods like Zoom or FaceTime, I think that's a great way to build a support system.
He said, you stop comparing yourselves to others. So true. We have to stop doing that. This, do you know what's another thing too? This wicked spirit of competition, especially here in the United Shenanigans of America. It is awful, bro. This competition thing, I can't wait till one day it's over, because that in itself, competition is wicked. People think competition is healthy in sports. Oh, we're competing to make ourselves better. No. This whole competition spirit is toxic because it already puts you in a state where it's like, I have to be better than you. I can't cooperate with you because I have to be better.
Yep.
Using the hashtags to connect with people who are in the same path as you, I think that's something that I've found that to be very effective throughout this pandemic.
So hold on a minute.
He said it's
bro.
a chronic brain disease. You saw that?
Yeah, but the last caption was like, follow me on TikTok.
Hey, that's the thing. We're all narcissistic, bro. That's one thing that, Dr. What's her name? Oh man, she's so great. I can't remember her name right now. Dr.
The lady on the other day?
No. This is the first person that I followed that I got so much information. She's very popular about narcissism. She's like a narcissist guru. Damn, I can't remember her name. She's Indian. But she lives here in the United States. She's from LA. Damn, I can't remember her name right now. But anyway.
Well, I know why she's an expert.
Yeah, because she's in the capital. She said that LA is the capital for narcissism. And I believe that. Also, too, is one thing she said that we all have a little bit of narcissism in us. And I believe that. And one of the way she explained it, she says, here in the United States, you have to have some bit of narcissism in you just to survive in this toxic environment. And I was like, whoa, that blew my mind because it's true. We all got to be a little narcissistic from time to time just to survive in this toxic concrete jungle called the United Shenanigans of America. It's true. And other people around the world. Shout outs to the UK. By the way, Brother Ash said, Shalom. Most High Christ bless you, brother. Dr. Romney. Yes, Dr. Romney. Thank you, brother, man. I'm so happy that you're here, bro. Thank you so much, bro.
Yeah, all praises.
All praises, bro. Thank you. So when she said that, bro, it just blew my mind because it's so true. It's so true. And I'm going to tell you something. When I was younger in my 20s, especially when I only cared about money, because there was a point in my life where money was everything. And that was some of the best times when dealing with women. And I'm going to just say this. I never had problems with women when I was younger as far as caring about them. When I would hurt their feelings or when they would try to hurt they couldn't hurt me. Why? Because I put money before them. And it was like they were always chasing me, but I didn't really care about them because it was about making money. And when I had that narcissistic mindset, I thought I was good. I even looked back on it. I was like, I had very little problems or none with women because I didn't care to. It's like, you're here now. You could be gone tomorrow. I don't care because I'm thinking about how much I'm going to make today, tomorrow, next week. And that was very narcissistic when I was in my early 20s. And I had to realize that. I was like, yeah, I was all about that money. And that narcissism was in me because of that. Now, I wasn't a scumbag or anything like that, but certain women looked at me like that because I didn't care about them. I cared about the money. And there's a lot of young brothers out here right now that are like that. And when I see them, I pray for them because it's like, dude, when I was like that, we didn't have all of this distraction. We didn't have all of this self-worship platforms. Because I can only imagine that if I had social media when I was 20, 19, 18, 16, 17, 15, oh boy, you know how bad it would have been for me and many other people. It's crazy, bro. Let's go to Lilith now. Let's go to Lilith. Let's go to the
source, the horse's mouth.
To the horse's mouth. The highlight of this episode, the woman of the hour, right? Do we have a drum roll for her? Get a drum roll. Ladies and gentlemen, Lilith, a.k.a. Toxic Sea Waste Zero. Let's go.
Can I ask what's one of the worst things you've done to a person physically or mentally? So yeah, you can. This is going to be gross. And
what happened here? Could you hear it when I was playing it?
No.
No, you couldn't hear her?
No.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to press play and I'm going to log in. Now, let me see.
Can I ask what's one of the worst things you've...
So you can't hear her right now.
You know, how about because I have the...
I know why. Hold on.
Why?
I know why. Because I'm not sharing that tab. I have to share the tab.
Yep, that's right.
My bad, East. Tell me if you can hear it now.
Done to a person physically or mentally.
Okay.
So yeah, you can. This is going to be gross and it's embarrassing. And I know that
really?
It doesn't matter that it's embarrassing to me. What matters
God.
is that it's wrong. So I'm prefacing this with this is wrong and you shouldn't do this to people. And if you find yourself relating to what I say, then maybe you should get some help. That's all. So I always
No, the thing
Sorry,
is,
bro.
it's a good thing. No, it's a good thing to examine yourself, to look at your faults and try to make yourself better. When you realize something, you have to work and you have to figure out a way to fix it.
Right.
However, there's a lot of people that refuse to do that. But, the social media thing, I just want to step back for a second. It creates that disconnect with yourself. And a lot of narcissists are not self-aware. They can't see themselves and understand themselves. And they always have an excuse of why they're doing something. So social media accelerates that and exacerbates that. So that's a problem that she had. So now she's looking at herself. So she's trying at least,
Yes,
and she's
absolutely.
having that trouble. She's having that trouble expressing herself and everything. And you got to understand there's still going to be some of that in her that's fighting against her changing herself. So it's a good thing that she's trying. At least she's trying. It's a bunch of people out of here, tons and tons of people out here that are not and will not ever try to change.
Dr. Ramani says that in her extensive career, I think she said it's about a 1 to 3 percentile of people that actually acknowledge that they're narcissistic and want to seek help. And then she says out of that 1 to 3%, maybe that 1 or 0.5% actually get the help because they continue going with it. Because she says that the therapy that they need is like for life. Like they really, there's so many layers that have to be peeled. And even when those layers are peeled and they get the help, it's ongoing. It's like a heroin addict. It's like once you are recovering heroin addict, every day is a struggle. Every day is a battle to stay sober, right? It's the same thing with the narc. So it's a very small percentile that actually can go on for life getting the therapy that they need to become better. Most will go into therapy, especially if it's couples therapy, and they will try to convince the clinical psychologist or therapist that they're right. They'll try to manipulate the therapist. And that's what they do a lot. And what she says is that a lot of times she feels sorry for the other person because the target, just like I was the target, they target people like myself, people that are very empathetic. They want to do right by you and want to just, because I really wanted to be with this woman that I was with. I thought I was going to be with her for life. Like I had a major attraction to her, not physically, but mentally, because she was not gaslighting me. She was love bombing me. I didn't know it. I thought we was having a connection, but no, she was just connecting to me because she listened to my podcast and she wrote all the things that she knew I would like, and she became that. And this is why it's so wicked, because it's like, that's why some of your actors are the most extreme narcissists that you'll ever meet. You won't know that because you don't know them on a personal level. But when you hear the behind the scenes stories, you're like, holy shit, some of these people are severe narcissists. That's why they're such good actors. Because they can pretend to be everybody else but themselves.
Exactly.
Being themselves, it sucks. It's like, why be myself when I could be a bunch of other people and get paid for it? That's why a lot of them don't like a lot of downtime. They like being behind the screen. And let's not even talk about the demonic possession of the spells that goes on when they take on spirits, when they do certain roles, like your Denzels, like your what's that? Halle Berry's, Al Pacino. I believe that Al Pacino channeled Satan for that role, bro. I know he's a good actor, but bro, I think he channeled Satan directly.
Yeah,
because
that's why they call it. I'm sorry, that's why they call it that. Oh, he channeled this thing in this performance. Yeah, okay,
right. Now I'm gonna mute myself because I'm gonna start laughing a lot, and I don't want to interrupt the audio. So I'm gonna mute myself and play this video.
I always viewed relationships as like mental chess. So I was always doing everything that
you gotta share it again.
Everything that I
got to share it again on the StreamYard. You got to share it again.
Yeah, I thought I was. You can't hear it?
No, you bought us.
Was planned and thought.
Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear it, but you bought it. You took it out of the frame, and it's just two of us there.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Yeah, present. Yeah, okay. There you go. That's it. Yep.
All right.
Out to get reactions and to like get people to do certain things. So I push people to really bad places. Like I would push people mentally to very distraught places, to very traumatized places, to like I would pull them into their trauma. Like I would figure out their trauma and their triggers, and then I would slowly dose them with their triggers and their traumas to put them into fight or flight mode. So then
how many of us deal with people like this that know what triggers you, knows what we used to call it back in the days, pushing the buttons. You know what I mean?
You know, is she a strong black woman or something? She don't look like, because, you know, and I'm not glorifying this dude, but Kevin Samuels used to break this habit down. And he would talk, and the clips they have of him, he would talk to sisters and say, listen, you're doing this. And they would be like, no, it's the guy. It's the, you know, dude.
Bro, you're gonna get me boycotted, bro.
Well, I thought that happened in the first 7 minutes, so we might as well go all in. But I thought this was a strong black woman, bro. You know?
Bro, if you look at her hands, I can only imagine her body too. Like, just look at the tattoos. All right, look at the tattoos,
well, bro. And I was saving this, but I pulled up a thing about that. You know, from our favorite psych website, Psych Central.
Yeah,
and it talks about how the narcissists, they're not self-aware. They cannot connect to their true self. So because they don't have that bond, that love with themselves, they go for those accents. Oh, this will make me look better and I'll like myself better. You never will be satisfied because you don't have that love, that bond with yourself. So how can you deal with somebody else right? She needed to start working on this first. It's a good thing that she did see it, but it would be better for, you know, as we get older and that people that understand, that have children, to make sure these patterns aren't in children, so that they can grow up to have just a one relationship, even if it is a high school sweetheart or something like that. And then, you know, you get married and that relationship marriage lasts until one of you are passed from this earth. And, you know, but she's going from relationship to relationship. It's a good thing that she's seeing it and she's describing it to a T, the button pusher, dosing the trigger, and then more of it, and then more of it. You know, that's strong black woman right there. Strong black woman, bro.
It's also, you know what I noticed with narcissists? Because that's my ex relationship. That's what she would say, that she's a strong black woman. What I noticed with them, though, is a lot of them have, if not damn near all of them, and you can see it in her too, even in her posture. There's something about her that has this masculine energy to it. There's a masculine energy to these women.
And they can't handle the masculine, and they're trying to merge that. That's the societal push.
Right.
Trying to merge that, and it's not their natural order.
That's right.
That's why they look to the fake hair and the makeup and the this and the tats and all this other stuff.
And that's why you'll see like a woman like Michelle Rodriguez in a film like Fast and Furious whipping a 250-pound, 6'6" man that's built like a shit house, and she's whipping his ass like he's a rag doll.
Yeah,
you know
okay.
Like
that's believable.
That's right. But that's the psychological spiritual warfare that's going on with Hollywood, where they're showing like like, listen, you know, my
girl
sister,
power.
may she rest in peace. My sister Mel, she whipped some ass. I seen her whip some ass. I think my sister was like 5'1", 5'2", or something like that, whooping some ass back in the days in the Bronx. It is possible to a certain degree, you know what I mean? But Michelle Rodriguez she weighs like 99 pounds soaking wet. And when they show her doing all of this crazy stuff, it's that female goddess worship where it's like everybody could be She-Ra now, you know? The warrior princess or whatever. And it's nonsense. And you got these young girls that think they could do that, and then they put their hands on a man, and that man winds up knocking them out into oblivion. We've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm not just focusing on women, right? Because there's a lot of male narcissists. And male narcissism is the original narcissist. It really started with men. It wasn't women. There were women narcissists, right? There's wicked women in the scriptures in days of antiquity. But the original narc was men. But because of social media and because how you can be benefited, you can benefit from being sexual, which is a narcissistic trait that women use more than men, because women are more sexual, and the way they can lure people in with their bodies and their curves and all of that and their beauty, especially when it comes to men. Social media is the breeding ground for this. And it pisses me off. I ain't gonna lie. When I see a girl that's just shaking her butt and she's got 3 million followers and she's making a shitload of money on her Instagram or TikTok account for just shaking her butt. You know what I mean? And she don't have to work a day in her life. That's her job. And she benefits from it. And this is why there should be conditions to this thing called social media. But the powers that shouldn't be know this, just like the hip hop industry. I laugh when some of these producers be in the studio and you see them and the dude is going like, and they're like, yo, that's fire, bro. That's fire. You hear that? And they're like bopping their head and it's like, come on, bro. You know this is trash. This ain't even music. The dude is mumbling. I like what's his name? Joey B. He's a comedian that's got a YouTube channel I follow. He be exposing narcissism like no other, bro. Like he does it comedically by showing people doing the whole selfie thing and dancing in the streets. And he shows a lot of like clips from the Island Boys. I'm an island boy. You know, those dudes. And some of the commentary, bro, I almost peed on myself one time because he says like the most craziest stuff that's funny as hell, but it's true to the core. And his videos get pulled sometimes. You know what I mean? He calls it the YouTube graveyard. So I was like, when I heard him say that, I was like, bro, I got 6 accounts in the YouTube graveyard as we speak. 6 in a 5-month period, bro. Listen, 7 is the most highest number people say. It's the number of completion. This 7th account has yet to be pulled. And let's give all praises to the Most High that it stays that way. So I'm going to continue to play this, right?
Yeah, rewind it a little bit.
Let's rewind it because she's giving some secrets. People take notes, especially you brothers and sisters that are dealing with people like this. Take notes. And after you take your notes, make the proper adjustments. And I'm going to say this too, because I've lived this with a narc. Move strategically and don't tell them shit. Keep everything secret. Keep it so secret that you even don't know to yourself. All right? Because you got to move wisely with these people. All right? You got to move and I did. That's how I got away from this narc. And and if you want to know how I did it and you want to get a great education on how to go about it, listen to my past episodes called Sleeping with the Enemy Parts 1 and 2. I give you a very intricate breakdown on how I lay down with a demon. And you got to get away from these demons. This is spiritual warfare. You got to move wisely because they're toxic chess players. So you got to play chess better than them. But you got to play it where you have to be narcissistic. You have to be somewhat conniving and cunning on dealing with these people so you can get them out of your life. It's crazy, but let's continue. We're gonna pull it back a little bit. Here's some of the secrets here.
That's good. Right there.
Very distraught places to very traumatized places to like, I would pull them into their trauma. Like I would figure out their trauma and their triggers, and then I would slowly dose them with their triggers and their traumas to put them into fight or flight mode so then I could have more control over them. This is terrible. Oh my God. One person I had so stuck on me that he ended up sending me like $150,000 during the pandemic. And he was also like not getting anything from me. And I was like telling him to kill himself. And I was being really mean and making him cry all the time. And I would like lie to him. And then I would like give him like doses of like what he wanted. But like, I was just mostly just really abusive. Like I was like, just like, you're just such a piece of shit and like nobody cares about you and all of that because I was just wanted to keep him so I could keep using him. And I think that That's complete disregard.
No, I'm going to stop it right there for a second, because that is very common behavior with narcissists. Many of you know that I dealt with this dude that I used to follow his platform. This dude is a full-blown narcissist, all right? I'm not going to call him by his Hebrew name because there ain't shit about him that represents Israel properly, so he doesn't deserve that name. But we call him Federico the Prophet, right? Now, Federico the Prophet, this dude, what he did or tried to do to me and to take to some degree is he literally he tribally gaslighted. He got people to tribally gaslight me, right? On social media and on his platform. And the common theme throughout this tribal gaslighting was, you should kill yourself. You should kill yourself. You should stop podcasting. Your podcast sucks. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. But the overall theme was like, oh, he should go kill himself. And if I was a weak dude, which many people that know me know that would never happen because I'm not that type of dude, you know what I'm saying? But if I was, what if I would have killed myself? You know, and these people that do this, they need to repent. And only reason I'm saying that is because the spiritual realm is real. The Most High is real. The Messiah is real. And these people, and I'm just saying, based on their behavior, I wouldn't be surprised if these are some of the people that have these glimpses that they go in hell. These are the people that are burning. These are the people that are in that lake of fire. Because sowing discord, brother, and correct me if I'm wrong, sowing discord is worse than murder, isn't it?
It's one of the 7 abominations listed in Proverbs 6.
People, if you're like this, you better change your ways, man. I'm telling you right now, you better change your ways, because this behavior on a spiritual level, on the spiritual realm, is ugly. And you know what they say? The Most High don't like ugly. Most High despises ugly. See, everybody think that the Most High is like, oh, the Most High is going to forgive me and all that. Most High is so kind and loving, and the Most High created us out of love and order and everything. But
we choose violence. We wake up and choose violence.
We have a choice. That freedom of will, that you know, when Adam and Eve decided to do what they did and many others, that's why the Most High was like, now I gotta bring you an example. I gotta show you what to do now, because you done fucked up so much. Okay. And these people, like she's talking about, she knows, like she's like telling you straight up, I told the dude to kill himself, that he's a piece of shit. And you people gotta answer for that. And I'm telling you something else before I continue. A lot of these narcissists suffer right before they die, like a week before they die. All those demons that are on them, that legion, they come to visit them, bro. They come to visit them. And it's not a good party, bro. It's not a good party. It's a very wicked party that it's like it's too late at that point. You know what I'm saying? It's too late. It's not like they're gonna, you know, it's like, oh, I repent now, I repent. No. You done destroyed many lives. You're gonna have to work for that repentance. In that next realm, wherever the Most High sends you or wherever you go to, because there's something called accountability spiritually. I'm not talking about physical accountability. I'm talking about spiritual accountability. That's why I understand why the BOCC focuses on repentance so much, because it's like, you better get it right while you're here, because if not, that accountability for you to gain repentance in the spirit realm has got to be 100 times harder and 100 times, thousands times longer to receive.
If at all.
If at all, right? Depending on how wicked and how many lives you destroy. And I'm not the Most High. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that based on what I've seen, especially when it comes to those older people that were pieces of crap. You know, my grandfather was one of them. My grandfather's the type of dude that when he would walk into a place in Puerto Rico, everybody leave the place. Like the villas and all that stuff, these bars and restaurants, he'd come, everybody leave. I've heard plenty of stories, man. I found out that my grandfather, this is on my father's side, that my grandfather wound up repenting and turning his life to Christ when he got older. But, bro, he was a real piece of work, bro. This dude was into Santeria, too. He was into witchcraft for a little while, too. You know, and I think that's what, I think some of these generational curses come from that in my family, because he opened some doors. But he did repent. So I got to give it to him. The man did find Christ in his life later down his life. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really know him like that. I only heard stories. But I do know that he did turn his life life over to Christ. And I don't know how serious that was or whatever, but I'm just saying. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue listening to this narc.
It is like just like the worst thing that I've done, like mentally, is that all of that that I just explained. I also admit there was like one point in my life where I thought that this was cool. Like I thought that like manipulating people and like having the ability to like implant thoughts into people's brains by like suggestive like thought was like cool, and I liked doing it, and now I feel disgusted and I don't think that it's right. I know that people are probably gonna like be like, wow, you're a piece of shit, but that's why I'm on here. That's why I'm talking. That's why I'm trying to be honest. So yeah.
Wow. You know what though? Let's give her a round of applause, man, because you know, I got to give her credit because good for you, Lilith, because what you did, most people won't do, because a lot of narcissists don't like to admit they're wrong, especially in public. Shout outs to Lilith for recognizing that she's a piece of shit and she wants to change from being a piece of shit. Congratulations, man. Congratulations, Lilith. You did a good job. And
just keep it up.
Just keep it up. Repent. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you can find Christ in your life and you can start having compassion for others and actually right your wrongs, you know, and start asking for forgiveness for those people that you triggered and did all this foul shit to. And, you know, hopefully you can change for the better. But this is a start. This is a start. This thing is serious, bro. This thing is serious, you know, and that's why so many people have told me there's like Aura, you know, keep doing what you're doing on the network of awareness because you're exposing something and I'm learning things and I'm grateful to the Most High, bro, because I tell people, I'm like, that's not me, man. And the reason why I say that is because it really isn't. If I didn't have that experience with that woman and that dude that I just called, you know, Federico the Prophet, who I showed a lot of love to, by the way, and compassion for. If I didn't go through that, if the Most High didn't put me through that situation, we wouldn't be doing these episodes, bro. That was the Most High. You know what I mean? Like that, you know, sometimes we go through real trifling things because like you and I and Take did an episode. I suggest brothers and sisters, check it out. Check out the Council on Christ Relations. Brother Aban and Take One and I, we did an episode called Faith is Our Test, and listen to it because the Most High ordains us to go through these things, to serve him better, to be stronger. And sometimes we got to go through that trial by fire. I know you've been through it, you know what I'm saying? And that's why you do these episodes with me. It's not a coincidence that we do these episodes. It was ordained for you and I to do these episodes. The Most High made it so. The Most High knew you and I were going to do this at one point or another. Yeah. You know, that's why when Kankam told us about that, we got some good synergy. I'm like, that's the Most High.
Yeah. All praises.
All praises, bro.
Yeah.
Because you done been through some things. I've been through some things. And you went through it far longer than I did. Far longer.
FIF. Fifth.
He pleads the fifth, people. All right. And there's reasons for that. But, you know, the thing is this. When it comes to this narcissism, man, and let me pull this thing up again because that's it, right? That was her videos.
I don't know if she had one, but there was that there's that page on Psych Central about
well, let's continue reading about her. Let's continue reading about her. And I'm going to just read this. I'm not going to pull it up because I'm just going to read it. It says, of Lilith's followers, some are supportive of her openness and others seemingly view her stories as bragging. And I bet you those are her narcissists. Those are other narcissists. They're probably like, like, shut up. One commenter, for example, told Lilith that her MPD was an excuse for her to continue choosing to be mean to people. And I could see how that is. But if that's the case, she wouldn't have even said nothing in the first place. You know, she would just deal with people on a one-on-one basis. And when they say, hey, you're a piece of shit, she's like, oh, well, I got an MPD. What do you want me to do? You know, it's like Tourette's.
Crutch.
You know? So it says, it's not that I'm choosing to be mean. This is Lilith. And this is her reply. She goes, it's that I'm choosing not to be mean all of the time. True. My immediate response is to be mean. See, she's recognizing her toxic ways. She's She's recognizing the wickedness in her. And I guarantee you, if she sought out spiritual counsel, then I bet you that a lot of those demons would leave her, especially if she welcomes Christ into her life and she gets some scriptures into her system. If the scriptures start to become her provisions, I guarantee you those demons will leave. They will leave because they'll be like, oh, we can't deal with her no more because she's dealing with the Messiah. She's dealing with the preeminence.
That's right.
In a popular video, Lilith was asked about the worst thing she had ever done to someone mentally or physically. In response, she said she viewed her relationships, whether friendships or romantic, as mental chess, right? I was just talking about the toxic chess player.
Yep.
That's what they are. She goes, everything I said and did was planned and thought out to get reactions and to get people to do certain things, she added. I pushed people to very bad places.
Strong black woman.
Strong black woman.
Strong.
I'm a strong black woman.
Strong black woman.
Strong. And listen, and if many people that listen to my show, I don't believe in social constructs, black, white, yellow, all that nonsense. You hear that term, strong black woman, but you're hearing that strong woman thing going on right now. It could be a white girl, a black girl, a Spanish, Latino, Hispanic girl, an Asian. They all saying it, bro. Because if you look at her, she looks like she's a little mixed with something. I don't know. But everything I said and did and planned and thought out to get reactions, to get people to do certain things. This is why narcissists make more money than everybody. This guy, Federico the Prophet, bro, this dude is always getting people to buy the stupidest shit from him that he creates or tries to steal from other people. Right now, he's got this theme called, I think, the Black Indians now. Now he's on this Black Indians tip. So now he got everybody saying, hey, shalom, Black Indians.
Whatever.
Shout outs to my Black Indians and my Gentiles. It's like, give me a break. Anyway, it says, in one relationship particular, Liv claimed that she had a man sue her for 100.
Send her.
I'm sorry. You know what it is? I got this line that I got to fix on my computer. My bad. Let me fix it.
That's all right. We're good.
Send her. Yeah. Remember what she said? Send her $150,000. I'm like, how did you do that? Over the course of the pandemic and with nothing in return. I bet you she love bombed the shit out of him, though. There had to be something that she did. I don't believe that she completely did nothing. There had to be something in the form of manipulation. Yeah, she may not have had sex with him, but she did something. So it says, I would give him doses of what he wanted, right? So, okay, so there's the love bombing. But I was mostly just really abusive, she admitted. And what she means by that is she probably started out with the love bombing and then she just switched it up on him.
And started breadcrumbing him.
Breadcrumbing him.
Where you just give him just enough.
And gaslighting him.
Starts to leave, you bring him back.
Right.
Like the insurance company commercial, the guy with the fishing line with the dollar on it. Here you go. Oh, not quick enough.
And bro, and I could tell you coming from the insurance industry, there's a lot of narcs in the insurance industry. A lot.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. A lot of them didn't like me because I used to be like, yo, bro, just tell the truth, man. Like, just tell the truth. Like, you don't got to go into this whole spiel and try to manipulate situations, but, to each his own. It's a culture. The insurance industry is a culture of narcissism, by the way. Let me just put that out there. And I lived it. I was in it. I was in those conferences, in those galas and all of that nonsense. I was there. I know what it's like. And especially, you get a high off of getting awarded and having all your peers be like, you the man. You sold $150,000 worth of policies and blah, blah, blah. It's all bullshit. No, it really is.
Yeah.
It really is. It's all bullshit, bro. It's one of the reasons why this country is so messed up, because you got people that are so narcissistic that they will manipulate their mother to make a buck. They'll do whatever to step on their mother's back to make a buck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In one relationship in particular, it says, I would give him doses of what he wanted. No, let me start off where I left off. She said, I would give him doses of what he wanted, but I'm mostly just really abusive. She admitted, I thought that manipulating people and having the ability to implant thoughts into people's brains opinions by suggestions was cool, and I liked doing it, and now I feel disgusted.
That's repentance.
Right. Girl, one commenter wrote, why the fuck did you admit this?
Because
that sounds like a strong black woman.
Exactly. You exposing us, and she's doing a Kevin Samuels, but this is her testimony.
Right.
And the thing is, the manipulating people and having the ability to implant thoughts into people's brains by suggestion, that's not sincerity. And we're supposed to deal with each other with sincerity, not to be excessive, not to be manipulative. We're supposed to have natural affection for whoever we run into. We're supposed to be kind and gentle. And we see what the opposite side of that is. One of the things is what she was doing. And it's a good thing that she admitted and that she's trying to turn from it.
And there's another video. You know what I was just thinking, bro? We're like an energy supply for her right now. Like, we giving her energy, bro. We giving her attention, but for educational purposes, of course.
Yeah.
So it says, girl, why the fuck did you admit this? I have made terrible choices in my life and have greatly affected others with my decisions. Lilith replied in a comment, I speak not for recognition, but for absolutions. Congratulations, man. Yes, that sounds like repentance to me, or at least the start of it. In a follow-up, Lilith elaborated on why she's so open to answering brutal questions about her shameful past. Ultimately, she had no amount of social sharing. No, was that social sharing? Social shaming can trump the guilt she feels for what she really has done. Clearly, speaking about it is helping people, Lilith continued. Absolutely. It's helping this broadcast. At the end of the day, whether or not I admit it, I did it and I have to live it. Absolutely. Congratulations. So let's hear about that. Let's go into the next video here.
Okay.
Can I ask what's one of the worst things you've done to a person physically?
Okay. I don't think this is the same one. So let me rewind it.
Ask what's one of the worst things you've done to a person physically or mentally. So yeah, you can. This is going to be gross and it's embarrassing. And I know that it doesn't matter.
It's the same
that
one.
It's embarrassing to me. What matters is that it's
See, it didn't show it
wrong.
as the same one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the same one. Hold on. Because there's a different one and they're showing it on here.
Yeah. And then there's one where she's in a car or something.
That's the one that I thought I was on. But then it's, oh no, you know what it is?
Well, you had to press the right arrow to go over to the next video or something.
Yeah, because I saw her in the car and she was talking when she was in the car. You know what? Let me refresh the page. See if that helps.
Yeah, I think that'll do it.
Okay. Yeah, let's refresh the page here. Continue.
Maybe come out of the full screen too.
This is the one where she's in her room.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can.
17
Can
or
you hear
18.
it?
And I'm 24 now.
No.
And it's funny.
Yo, the TikTok is funny, bro.
Yeah, maybe if you go to her channel.
Let's go to her channel because I do have TikTok. Oh, wait a second. No, wait a second. I think I figured this out. Let me refresh the page. That's what we're going to do. If not, we'll go to TikTok. Okay, so I refreshed the page. Share this tab. Now I'm going to go down.
Yeah, story continues. Yep, and then scroll on down.
Right here. Okay, so now I'm going to just put it on the speaker. Tell me if you can hear it.
I was 17 or 18.
Okay.
And I'm 24 now. And as funny as it is, the first person to ever call me a narcissist was a narcissist themselves. And the last person to ever call me a narcissist before I was like, you know what, maybe I am a narcissist, was a narcissist themselves as well. A real takes one to know one situation. It definitely felt impossible for me to admit to myself that not only I was a narcissist, but that I was just abusive in general. That was really what I had to admit to myself. I didn't have to admit to myself I was a narcissist. That is actually easier for me to admit. That makes sense. That is easier. That's not, to me, that's not bad. But being abusive and that I was an abusive person, that was really hard to admit. And I did everything I could to avoid that. It took me being trauma bonded to an abusive person for me to basically start to see the similarities and start to understand and start to be open to my abuse, because I feel like a lot of the abuse that I had due to this person was reactive abuse, but then there were a lot of situations where I was reacting to their abuse as well. And I admit I was generally comfortable in situations like that because I'm comfortable in chaos, and I found this sort of ability to be able to be terrible because they were terrible, and there was a happiness there for me, even though it wasn't good. I know it sounds weird, but like I believe chaos is like the root of change and helps you grow and like makes you uncomfortable. Like being uncomfortable helps you grow. And I like saw this like sense of I could better myself in this relationship. And like, I don't know, it was weird. And I was more self-aware at that point. So I had an awareness that I wanted somebody to make me able to be a victim. Like I was more aware, like my awareness, like as the years went on, just kept opening up to the things I was doing. I was just allowing myself to do them and was okay with them because I had validations and I was just really good at lying to myself. And then eventually I just couldn't lie to myself anymore. And there was just like a willingness and a want to change.
Now, I'm going to say something about this that just came to mind that's serious. This can be a form of manipulation from her as well, because what they do too is, and I had this happen with me, where when I broke up with the woman I was with, and it was already going on the second week where she was trying to get me back by love bombing me and breadcrumbing me and all this other stuff she was doing. And when we finally had a conversation, and I've talked about it, where she was in her office or at her job, she's talking to me and she's pointing out all her errors. And she's like, I did this, I did that, I could have did this better and this. And I'm just listening like, yeah. Because she already knew what she was doing, but she felt like, and Dr. Ramani talks about this, where they have this pseudo empathy, where it's the empathy that's not truly genuine, because in itself, it's a form of manipulation to try to reel you back in. It's a form of breadcrumbing mixed in with love bombing. And the way they go about it is they bring themselves to the lowest common denominator to basically point out. It's almost like they're having a counsel with you and you're not saying anything. They're saying everything you already know, but they're realizing it, or at least they want you to believe that they are. And they're selling it to you like, hey, I know I'm a piece of shit and I got to fix myself. Kind of like what she's doing. And they do that to try to get you in that vulnerable state again, to be manipulated and to welcome them back into your life so that they can wreak havoc all over again. And that's why I was telling you, brother, that I had to keep the poker face. Like, you know how Brother Could Come talks about his poker face? Mm-hmm. I've learned just in this past relationship how to have that poker face, because I was like this, bro. And I'm going to show you. This is how I was. Let's do a close up. This is how I was. I was like this. I'll go. Now, when I was about to lose it, I would go. This is what I do. I'll go. As I was listening to her, she'd be like, you okay? I'm like, no, I'm just listening. I'm just trying to really process what you're saying. So I got to keep my eyes closed. But I was closing my eyes because I didn't want to give it away that I knew she was full of shit. Because in my mind, I'm like, I can't let her know. And this is why I was telling people, you can't let them know what you're thinking. You can't wear your heart on your sleeve, because then you're going to give it away. In my mind, I'm like, I'm just going to keep it real. I'm going to say it exactly outside. It's like, bitch, I'm done with you. Oh, I'm done with you. Oh, you're such a piece of shit. Like I cannot let you know that I'm done with you. I'm going to let you finish, but I'm done and I'm not coming back. I'm done with you. So when it was all said and done and she gave her spiel, her best sales pitch ever, that's when I was like, wow, that was beautiful. And she's over here like, yes, I got him. In her head, she's like, yes, bingo, bango, chicken. Well, was it winner, chicken dinner? Mm-hmm. You know, she's like this, like in her mind, she's probably like, yes. And then I hit her with the left, the right, the straight. I hit her with the 2-piece and the grape soda, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I said to her, I was like, that's beautiful, but it still doesn't change how I feel. And I'm not going to get back with you. And that's when I told you she threw the phone, she threw the phone and it was a wrap after that. But all praises. And I'm listen, as vile as this woman that I dealt with and these types of people, we got to appreciate them. We got to give thanks to the Most High for allowing us to endure these people. Cause like this one woman said, when you're like you and I, if you and I didn't know each other and we saw each other in a room one day, like you and I would have a certain connection because we dealt with this behavior. So it would be like, it's almost like it's the soldiers that know they've been through the battle. And I would probably tilt my head to you and be like, what's up, bro? And you would do like, you would just know. You'd be like, you just know something spiritually would let you know, because this lady said you can recognize other people that have overcome narcissistic abuse. Why? She said, because they're the very people that stared Satan in the face in the pits of hell and were able to survive to talk about it.
Wow. Interesting.
Yo, all praises, because this thing is serious, bro. This is not a game. This is not a game. And it does feel like you went to the pits of hell and stared Satan in the face and got away. Because a lot of people don't. A lot of people get stuck. They don't even know who they are no more. I've seen that. I've seen it with my aunt. Her ex or whatever her husband, this dude was full-blown narc. He used to tell my cousins that Satan was going to punish them for everything they did. If they spilled milk, Satan's going to punish you, you know? Bro, this dude was wicked, to the point that when I was already a grown-ass man in my 30s and my mother invited him for a Thanksgiving dinner, he stayed his ass in the kitchen because I told my mom, I said, if this man comes into the living room, I'm going to hurt him. I'm going to choke him and I'm going to make him go unconscious. I couldn't stand this man, you know, because he was wicked, bro. Now, he never did anything to me deliberately, but he would threaten me and stuff. And I'd be like, I wish you would. But he knew that he knew my father that was living in Florida was crazy. And he knew that my mom was crazy. So that's why he never tried to like touch me or hit me or anything. But he wanted to. And it's like these people, bro, they destroy lives, bro. They are destroyer of lives. That's why I'm like, if they don't repent, what do you think the Most High is going to do to them? Can't even imagine.
Well, if the scripture says, eye has not seen, nor has ear heard, or can any man comprehend what the Lord has for those that please him, I would think that it's going to be basically the same thing, you know, for those, you know, but on the other end of the spectrum, for those that displease him, although it is described as a lake of fire in Revelation.
Right.
You know, so some punishment that we can't even comprehend right now, but it's on the bad side, that's for sure.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see her in the car, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can get audio on this.
Yeah.
Or judgmental stigma that I get from speaking about it. And clearly speaking about it is helping people. It's not helping everyone. Some people don't like it, but that's okay. They don't have to like it. It's helping other people. So that's really it. At the end of the day, whether or not I admit it, I did it. I have to live with it. And none of you know what that looks like for me. So it's fine for me to express it because I have come to a place of acceptance of what I've done. And I've also come to a place where I'm moving forward. So I don't continue to do it anymore. A part of getting better is admitting that you did something wrong. If you want people to get better, they got to start admitting this stuff. And it's the same thing if you want to get better, too. I mean, not everybody has to do it on the internet. I am not saying everybody has to just like blast their stuff like that, but and a way of accountability. It is an expression of accountability for me. I'm doing it this way. This is me and my own coping skills and strategies and my own way of healing. And it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else because it barely even makes sense to me. And that's kind of like how I live my life. And also, there's a power in saying it.
You need me to pause.
Couple questions. Okay.
Oh,
you
man.
Know,
oh, man.
Two things. Number one, I think it was probably the narcissism in combination with that voice that would push people to do terrible things and be in terrible places because I don't see how that voice could be loving in any type of way, but that's just my opinion. Number two, did she give the $150,000 back? If she's really sorry.
No, she didn't give it back, bro. Come on.
All right. Well, then she ain't really sorry. Did she like give some of it back and then like,
she's trying to make payments? She would have said that. That would have been part of her testimony. She would have admitted that, but not. Because it said that it was 150 throughout the pandemic. So I'm pretty sure that money spent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mm-hmm. Throughout the pandemic for what? The pandemic was at least a year and a half, 2 years. I mean, it's still going on. You know, I mean, the pandemic's still going on. What are we talking about?
Yeah,
it's still here.
What kind of vehicle is that? You know, let's take a look at that. Maybe sign
Bro,
that over.
I saw a dude wearing a mask today. I saw a dude wearing a mask today in the restaurant. Bro, it's still going on.
Yeah. You know, I guess they're getting ready for I don't know, whatever. It's good to be prepared. I guess that's what we'll say. We'll settle at that. Yeah. Good to be prepared. You know. I don't
Let's
know.
go back here. Now, I can't pull that video back up again, but because I would have to refresh the page and all that. But we heard enough because she was like, I don't even know what's going on in my life. I mean, this is just the way I live. I'm just living in a state of confusion and I'm completely content with it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Can you go down to where that video was and then read, I think it's the first sentence past that last video where she was at in the truck, and just read that?
Sure.
Because it's pretty interesting. It's the one that starts with, even though I.
Okay, let's see. Yeah. Even though right here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even read this. We didn't even read this. My bad.
No, that's all right.
Do you want to read it or you want me to read it?
Yeah, I got it. It says, and this is what she said. Even though I was victimized in my early life, Lilith added, I am not a victim anymore once I made the decision to victimize and harm other people because of my trauma. Can I get some applause?
Yeah, you can get several applause. You know, let's give a quick round of applause. We're not going to give the long one.
Yeah. So, you know, that we can go all the way back to PE. I got a right to be hostile, man. My people being persecuted, you know, and people say, well, because this happened or that happened in my childhood, this is the way I am. And I'm settled with that and I can't change it. Yes, you can. And you're not a victim. None of us are victims. Bad things happen to bad and good people all the time.
Right.
If you get knocked down, you can't stay down. You have to get up, and that's it. That's the whole thing right there. You know, she made a decision to be, you know, to go into that mindset, to let that mindset take over. And now she's trying to fight and claw her way apparently out of that so she can treat people, you know, better. You know, the broken old man at the clubs, prophet Kevin Samuels would say, that, you know, now that she's older and she's starting to lose her value, she's coming to the realization that such and such and such. But that, I don't know or care if that's the case. What I'm saying is she did realize it. So as long as she keeps going down that path, there is hope for her. And a lot of us have to look deep within ourselves in the dark nooks and crannies and crevices to find these evil mindsets and these evil spirits and come away from that, toss that out and throw it away and be new and acceptable and right with God.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
You want to continue here? Because there's a book.
Yeah. That's, you know, actually, I would like to refer to this article in Psych Central if we could.
Okay. Before you do that, I just want to talk about this book real quick. It says, if you think you might have narcissistic personality disorder, check out Stop Walking on Eggshells for more information. I love that title because one of my siblings is a narc. I mean, let me not say who it is. They are narc on steroids. And I remember growing up around this sibling, and even as an adult, and even her children. It's like walking on eggshells when she's around. It's literally like you don't want to crack the eggshell and make a noise because you might set her off. And there's so many different types, but that's what it feels like when you deal with these people. It's like you feel like you're walking on eggshells with them because they're the types of people that they're going to find something wrong where there's nothing wrong. That's why I was talking about that guy, Federico the Prophet. He's just like that. He's always He's always looking for something wrong in somebody, but the real wrong is really in him. But because they're so damn insecure, they have to, this is their modus operandi. Like, this is what they do. They're going to find something wrong with somebody else because as long as they're busy doing that, they don't have to look at themselves. Because if they were to look at themselves, they would be disgusted like she was. Like she said, I'm disgusted with myself, as she should be.
Yeah, she should. Yeah.
Yeah, brother. So let's go to Psych Central and I will stop sharing this and then you can share your page.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Where are we at here? I'm going to need that permission.
No, there's no permission. Once I see it up there.
Okay. All right.
There it goes. See? Boom.
All right. Cool. And let me see. I hope that helps. And remember, at the very beginning of this article, it said she identifies as an oppositional codependent narcissist.
Yes. So you looked that up. Thank you.
Yeah. So I searched for it, and oppositional is, I guess, something else. But, I guess it would always be in opposition. Like, how you ever been in a relationship and you tell somebody something, you're absolutely sure that this is this. And no, you're stupid. You're this, you're that. But then 6 months or a year later or whatever, you are absolutely right. That's what I can guess that is. But let's look at this article. Psych Central is the website. When a narcissist is also codependent, writers often distinguish narcissists and codependents as opposites. But surprisingly, though their outward behavior may differ, they share many psychological traits. In fact, narcissists exhibit core codependent symptoms of shame, denial, control, dependency, unconscious, and dysfunctional communication and boundaries, all leading to intimacy problems. Wow. So you have a hard time being close friends or in a close relationship with someone because you have all of these, what was that? What did you call it? The calculating chess playing? And
the toxic chess player. But also too, let me add something to this, because remember what she said, that she was in a cold trauma dependent relationship or something, a trauma bond. What happens too is that I had a trauma bond with the narc that I was with, because we've both gone through some things. So I was able to relate to her. But the difference between her and I, and what happened with this girl, Lilith, is that she actually was with another narc. And what happens is when you're with a narc, they start to abuse you just like you're abusing them. And then they get to know what it feels like. The difference between me and this woman is that I wasn't trying to abuse her. I was trying to help her. I was trying to love her. You know what I'm saying? But she didn't want that love. She didn't want it. She just wanted to try to manipulate situations. And she did a great job, bro. She turned things upside down in a way that was so, like, I was actually impressed on how wicked she was. Nah, be honest, I was. Because she manipulated a lot of people when we were together to try to bring me down. You know what I mean? And then while it was happening, she was right there beside me, trying to console me through the process. It was a boatload of fuckery, bro, that I can't, it's ineffable. I can't even put it into words. I'm just glad that I made it out alive, because it could have killed me. Yeah. And all praises to the Most High for that, bro. All praises to, for brothers like yourself, Akarai, many other brothers that I've met and that I've been dealing with. Of course, we got to give a round of applause for brother Julian. You know what I'm saying? Because Julian was like he was the nucleus to the purpose that the Most High was going to serve in my life. He was the beginning processes of everything that came to be. That was beautiful, benevolent, and a blessing. So shout outs to Barnabas, brother Julian. Yeah. Shout out, bro. All praises. Because I'm telling you, bro, you can continue. This thing is, this spiritual warfare, bro, is no joke. And I'm grateful that we have an opportunity to bring this out, because there's so many people suffering from this toxic behavior that's being inflicted upon them. Yep. Okay. Giving all praises. I'm going to start right here where we left off. One study showed a significant correlation between narcissism and codependency, even though they're opposites. Although most narcissists can be classified as codependent, although most narcissists can be classified as codependent, but the reverse isn't true. Most codependents aren't narcissists. They don't exhibit common traits of exploitation, entitlement, and lack of empathy. Wow. So it's the exploitation, like the sister was talking about, the entitlement, how she is privileged in every facet of life. Just like the scripture says in Proverbs, unless you ponder the path of life, you'll never figure out her ways, because they are movable. She can do something right. 2 weeks later, you do the same thing, you're wrong. And the reasons and excuses always change. And then also the lack of empathy, which we talked about. Dependency. Codependency is a disorder or a lost
self. Codependents have lost their connection to their innate self. Instead, their thinking and behavior revolve around a person, substance, or process. Narcissists also suffer from a lack of connection to their true self. In its place, they're identified with their ideal self, so they can't see themselves for what they really are. Their inner deprivation and lack connection to their real self makes them dependent on others for validation. So you're going to always need approval or accolades or compliments from somebody else. Consequently, like other codependents, their self-image, thinking, and behavior are other-oriented in order to stabilize and validate their self-esteem and fragile ego. So that's it. And remember, you said that Narcissism Guru stated that everybody has a little narcissism in them in this society, because we have to have some to be able to survive, and that's just what it is, so how I feel about myself is directly related to how other people think about me. So now I'm going to manipulate people into thinking good about me. So then you got the love bombing, you got the breadcrumbing, you might have the triangulation as well for that validation, because the weakness is actually in them. The evil is in them. And that's why I give accolades to that sister, because her self-esteem and a person's self-esteem and fragile ego usually won't let them see this to the point where they want to fix it and want to battle with it so that they can be better. That's a major step that lady is taking. Ironically, despite declared high self-regard, narcissists crave recognition from others and have an insatiable need to be admired to get their narcissistic supply. This makes them as dependent on recognition from others as an addict is on their addiction. So that, what do they talk about? Like the opiates and stuff, they hit the pleasure center of the brain. They actually...
Endorphins, serotonin.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. So, and when people do give you compliments and you get accolades and everything, it is supposed to make you feel good, but their lust for that feeling will lead them to manipulate people to give that to them. That's where they're going into evil, because they're not being sincere. And then the compliments that they're deriving from people, or the accolades they're deriving from people, are not true. The people that's giving them may be doing it, honestly, but it's not true because of the manipulation, right? So then now what they're doing is they're, what is it? It says up here, it's not true because they've been manipulated in doing it. So what they're doing is they're building up, they're manipulating people to give them these compliments, accolades, and respect and all this other stuff. And that's feeding the narcissist's image of their ideal self, instead of them just being sincere and working on these friendships and relationships, and then getting not only the compliments, but the criticism and the correction and the suggestions and the having to make the adjustments to be that better person, and dealing with improving their true self. So that's the connection. I don't know if I explained that clearly. You think that was okay? We got anything else on that? Well, all praises. So I'm going to read this last paragraph again. Ironically, despite declared high self-regard, narcissists crave recognition from others and have an insatiable need to be admired to get their narcissistic supply. So a person can always come at you like, any way to get recognition. Well, they might always put themselves down, or they might always need help, even even when they don't have to have help, or they might always need to be talked down from being angry, or whatever the manipulation tactic is, right? They crave recognition from others and have an insatiable need to be admired to get their narcissistic supply. This makes them as dependent on recognition from others as an addict is on their addiction, whether it's drugs or whatever. Like you said, the endorphins, the dopamine, the pleasure centers of the brain, you know? So I don't know I don't know how much farther you want me to read down in here, but
bro, let's go in, man.
Okay.
You know, because we got to roll with the spirit, bro, because this is spiritual warfare.
Okay.
But before you even do that, because we're about to go to shame, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of shame, it's, you know, their behavior is shameful and pitiful. So I pity them because I really feel sorry for these people, because they have such an overwhelming sense or they have such an overwhelming insecurity that they, you know, like Brother Ash said, he put on the YouTube that he said, always playing the victim. The woe is me. And, you know, not to go into detail, but you know that I dodged a major rocket. I dodged a major bomb with that space cadet that we won't name. All right. That space cadet was something else. If I would have got caught up with that space cadet, I would have been in orbit, bro. And you would have been like, where's Aura? Oh, you see that little star that's losing its light? There goes Aura. That's the constellation of never ever will see again. Because, bro, I would have been in orbit. But for the sake of the show, this episode called Narcissism, the Wicked-pedia for toxic behavior, let's play a little music for all these narcs that are spiritually, in my opinion, dead. They have no empathy. They have no compassion. They don't have that Christ consciousness, so to speak. They don't have it in them. So let's play a little music for them. But first, this is what you usually hear when they walk into the room. So let's just take a moment of silence, brother, okay? If you want to put your mic on mute, let's have a moment of silence for these narcs. We're back. Okay, continue, brother.
Okay. The next one, we're on psychcentral.com, and we looked up a codependent narcissist. So shame. Shame is at the core of codependency and addiction. It stems from growing up in a dysfunctional family. However, like the sister said, you're not a victim anymore when you go and victimize other people. Narcissist inflated self-opinion is commonly mistaken for self-love. However, exaggerated self-flattery and arrogance merely assuage unconscious, internalized shame that is common among codependents.
Do you know what assuage means? Because I've never heard that word and I want to look it up.
It's going into
make unpleasant feeling less intense, satisfy an appetite or desire. Ooh. What's another word for assuage?
Pacify, ally, quiet,
alleviate, lighten, mitigate, relieve. Okay. Got it, bro. Go ahead.
Yep. Appease, quench. All right.
I just learned a new word today. All praises.
Yeah. Exaggerated self-flattery and arrogance merely assuage unconscious, internalized shame. And that's probably only temporary as well. That is common among codependents. So it's the manipulation and getting the accolades and the love, getting your narcissistic supply from the other person in order to make up for the love or even the perceived love or manipulated love from them that you can't get from yourself. And I'm just going to go here right quick.
I'm going to hit you with another sound effect. Let's go.
I'm going to go here right quick. It's like a one sentence scripture. It says Ecclesiasticus 30:23, love thine own soul and comfort thy heart, remove sorrow far from thee, for sorrow hath killed many and there is no profit therein. So a lot of times, because we don't have that bond with ourself, we don't love ourselves, we don't like ourselves. So to make up for that sad trombone of a connection that we have internally, we go about to manipulate people to get an external supply from others. And that's wicked. Work on yourself first. Why don't you have this feeling of love within yourself? Is this something in your past that you need to reconcile and get straightened out so that you can, like that sister in those videos, so that you can realize that there's something wrong and you can't use this thing from your past as a reason to act this way moving forward. A lot of us have to do that self-examination. The scriptures say we should examine ourselves, because if we don't, and we don't put Christ in us, we're going to be rejected. All right. So starting right here at this paragraph, children develop different ways of coping with the anxiety, insecurity, shame, and hostility that they experience growing up in dysfunctional families. So it's the duty of the parents to break these generational curses, to get an understanding so that they're not giving their kids undue anxiety, giving them any insecurity, shame, or undue hostility. Like if they're running up and down the neighborhood, breaking everybody's windows, and this is like the fourth time you told them about it, yeah, there is going to be some hostility. But ordinarily, in normal circumstances, that does not need to be a foundational aspect of a child's growing up process. All right. Internalized shame can result despite parents' good intentions and lack of overt abuse. So that's the child going into a thought pattern and justifying it and keeping it hidden, but growing up with it and nurturing it themselves so it can develop into a pattern of something like this as an adult. To feel safe, children adopt coping patterns that give a rise to an ideal self. One strategy is to accommodate other people and seek their love, affection, and approval. Another is to seek recognition, mastery, and domination over others. Stereotypical codependents fall into the first category and narcissists the second. They seek power and control of their environment in order to get their needs met. Their pursuit of prestige, superiority, and power. They sound like politicians. Let me start over again. Their pursuit of prestige, superiority, and power help them to avoid feeling inferior, vulnerable, needy, and helpless at all costs. So why not just be honest? And if you have inferior feelings, deal with that and do some research, talk to some people and get rid of that inferior feeling. But no, that's too much work in people's minds, but they'll actually go and do more work to seek out the power and control to get their needs met. So they go through the manipulation, which is more work, more calculation, more manipulation instead of dealing with themselves. And if you have feelings of vulnerability or neediness or helplessness, there are things that you can do within you so that you don't go about falling into the trap of being a narcissist. And a lot of times, all of this stems from the lack of self-love or the lack of the understanding of how to love yourself. It stems from worrying and or anger or anything that you're not dealing with and you're not dealing with correctly according to Christ. That's what it boils down to. We can look at men's science and they're describing it pretty much spot on, from what I understand here. But all of these things that they're mentioning here in this article and the things that sister mentioned in those videos, all of those things can be corrected by applying Christ to your life. The Christ Christ of the Bible, not Christ of religion. So I'm going to read on. These ideals are natural human needs. However, for codependents and narcissists, they're compulsive and thus neurotic. Gotta have it. Additionally, the more a person pursues their ideal self, and let me just say this, why not make your true self into what your ideal self is? Like, why don't you write down a list of goals and set about to righteously achieve them? Okay.
You know what the narcs are saying right now as you're reading this?
Ouch.
No, this is what they're saying.
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo.
Well, additionally, the more a person pursues their ideal self, the further they depart from their real self. So work on the real. Stop making fantasy land, which is what we kind of talked about at the beginning. The further they depart from their real self, which only increases their insecurity, false self, and sense of shame. So, okay, excuse me. I want to go somewhere right quick. Really quick. Ecclesiasticus chapter 14.
Oh,
I'm going to read.
I knew it.
Yeah. I'm going to read just a couple verses here. Ecclesiasticus 14, verse 4. He that gathereth or reap in or take in or go about to get, he that gathereth by defrauding his own soul, gathereth for others that shall spend his goods riotously. So it's vanity. Verse 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. So like if that woman would have went on down that path, had no guilt, and kept getting money from people, she's not grateful, and you can never do enough for an ungrateful person. So it would have been vanity to her. And there's a lot of people that stay on the path that she was talking about being on. And here it is, Ecclesiasticus 14, verse 6. There is none worse than he that envies himself. And this is a recompense of his wickedness. Check this out. And if he does good, he does it unwillingly. And at the last, he will declare his wickedness. And then it goes on down and it talks about, listen, as much as you can, do good to yourself and help yourself and build yourself up, right? So, you know, a lot of people look at men's science and stuff and say the Bible is old fashioned and things like that. But the scriptures describe all of these things,
right?
From thousands of years ago. That's how you know it's true.
Right.
You know, but I'm not going to sit up here and strive and argue with somebody that doesn't want to believe. You have a free choice in this world, but like we discussed earlier, you can always do what you want, but you always have to remember that there's going to come a point in time where you're going to have to pay. And hopefully you come to an understanding of repentance before that. But this whole thing about their pursuit of prestige, superiority, and power helped them to avoid feeling inferior, vulnerable, needy, and helpless at all costs. These ideals are natural human needs. However, for codependents and narcissists, they're compulsive and thus neurotic. Okay. The more a person pursues their ideal self, the further they depart from their real self. So you're not being realistic. You're being false. You're being evil and wicked to yourself. Just keep it 100. And if that's too much of a trending term, keep it 1,000. Keep it really real with yourself. All praises. And see, you won't be able to love and deal with somebody else, anybody else, correctly and righteously if you're not doing it to yourself. And that's just the bottom line. Because Stone Cold Austin said so. No, I'm just playing. Okay. Additionally, the more a person pursues their ideal self, the further they depart from their real self, which only increases their insecurity, false self, because that's vanity. That's what the scriptures were just talking about.
Well, let's hear from a vainglory brother, a brother who was a big time narc back in the late 80s, early 90s, I believe.
Okay.
Let's get this brother on real quick.
Okay.
Who's the master?
Wow.
Show enough of Harlem.
When I say who's the master, you say show enough.
Show enough.
Yes, Mr. Nuff.
Nothing like this. Stage Screen Radio.
Yo, listen. I want to read this again. I just have to, because I want to let it sink in. Ecclesiasticus 14, starting at verse 4. He that gathers by defrauding his own soul gathers for others that shall spend his goods riotously. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods, because you can never do enough for an ungrateful person. You can have a whole bunch of stuff and it won't bring you happiness, and you'll find that out too late. There is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. So it is evil to not have that love of your real self. And if he does good, he does it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. Okay, I'm going to read down one more. Verse 11, my son, according to thy ability, do good to yourself and give the Lord his due offering. All right. So, and it says, in verse 14, defraud not thyself of the good day, and let not the part of a good desire overpass thee. So keep it real and be grateful. Be happy. Stop walking around thinking that you have to get people to like you or get something from them or go into these, fulfilling these needs. You know, to fulfill these needs and fix these needs cannot take priority and over the Most High. Manipulating people to fill these needs cannot take priority over the Most High. As a matter of fact, what you have to do is, if you want friends that, because it talks about having good friends, you do good for them, they do good for you. It talks about that in the same chapter. But if you have good friends that deal correctly with you, you can overcome these things, but you will never overcome them if you're not being honest with yourself and soul searching. Just like that sister in the videos, she would have never repented and changed from that if she didn't have that guilty feeling. And instead of passing it off and saying, I don't really care about that, I'm going on to the next one, right?
Also,
next
too,
victim.
you got to keep in mind, though, she also dealt with a narc. So that narc really made her feel like shit, so she knew what it felt like finally.
Exactly. But sometimes people will just pass that off as a bad one and they'll keep on moving.
Right.
And they will create that ideal self, and then they go about the manipulation. But there's a way that you can deal with these feelings and take care of them, but you have to be right with the Most High. Ask him and he will give that to you. He will help you with that. He's not just gonna, he's not the mega pastor where you giving him all this money and sending up all these prayers, and all you got is receipts for your taxes that you donated some money to a church or something, and nothing else. He's going to do good for you, but he wants to be able to trust you that you're going to do right by him, because too many people come and say, I'm going to serve the Lord, get a quick blessing, and be right back out in the world gone. One more. These ideals are natural human needs. However, for codependents and narcissists, they're compulsive and thus neurotic. Additionally, the more a person pursues their ideal self, the further they depart from, the more a person pursues their ideal self, the further they depart from their real self, which only increases their insecurity, false self, and sense of shame, which repeats the cycle. For more about these patterns and how shame and codependency co-emerge in childhood, see Conquering Shame and Codependency. And that's actually a hot link. So if you go to Psych Central and search that, when is a narcissist codependent, you can find that. And then it goes on. I don't know how much farther you want to go, bro, if you want to do a part 2 or what.
Yeah, we'll do. Well, there's going to be plenty of other narcissism shows. So I think we could wrap it up. We're over 2 hours already. We're going on 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And we're going to end this off. But yeah, good article. Covered a lot up in there. There's a lot.
Yeah, giving all praises.
But we did bring out a lot when it comes to this narcissism, and so did Lilith. So, giving all praises for Lilith, having a coming to Christ moment with herself for as long as it lasted. So with that being said, any final comments?
I just want to give all praises to the Most High through Christ for allowing us to come out here, and also for allowing us to give us this little bit of understanding that they have given us, so that we can combat these things in our own environments and in ourselves, and also warn and help other people that are dealing with this as well. We would be nothing without the Most High through Christ. And I just want to I would just want to help and exhort people to repent in the Christ of the Bible. So giving all praises and shalom.
All praises, bro. I'm going to give a quick part of an outro, and then I'm going to play a song that's like an anti-narc song now that I think about it. It's called A Quest for Salvation with Brother Take and I. And before I do that, I'm just going to give a quick outro. Let's see here. Yeah. So brothers and sisters, I hope you enjoyed this episode on this Saturday evening on the Network of Awareness. Today's March 11th. It's approximately 10:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Sunshine State of Florida, and also broadcasting out of Buffalo as well. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, when you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. And start a new beginning if you're dealing with a narc. Find a way out and start a new beginning on your life. Because if not, you're going to be stuck in some toxicity that is slowly but surely going to suck your soul out of your body. All right? And as always, don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, brothers and sisters, because the light is and always will be within you. So light up the tunnel and find your way through the darkness. This is ORRA the Informationalist with my co-host, Brother Aban, saying peace, love, and light, and all praises to the Most High. And also, we're going to end off this broadcast with a song called A Quest for Salvation. So let's get that popping.
Made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches, cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching, networking and murking. Anytime they can drop my curtain with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
Yahweh's gonna save the awakened and take him to an ageless haven. Patient, I can't stray away, gotta keep obliterating the pavement. Still remember that day on the phone, Mark, he said, yo, don't you take your foot off the gas. Always something to give y'all praises.
We're the dark oasis, for countless cases, a peak of faithless. I'ma need the patience, defeat them chases. We seek his graces for true salvation. We keep on praising, we go on blazing these revelations. Cease to hate, no altercations. Good vibrations, we back to basics to build foundations. Now defeated Satan. I done made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches, cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching, networking and murking. Anytime they can drop my curtain with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish. People pursuing acts of violence, their persistent act of defiance, freely forming a righteous alliance, truly against the science appliance. On a mission with wisdom and guidance, steady defeating the ignorant science, sealing convicted and non-compliant. Spiritual wars, they're moving silence.
Let's talk about what matters. Drop the vanity, folks out here losing their sanity. Kids popping off, lost in fantasies. People grieving over loss of family. The evil that be with the power, turning the people with credence to cowards, seeking to seize believers with vows. Man, even Stevie can see that it's foul.
I done made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches, cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching, networking and murking. Anytime to drop my curtain with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously emerging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
Depression gone with every song. Music led by another echelon.
To get you strong, keep pressing on long after we dead and gone.
From dusk till dawn, we're righteously armed with spiritual lessons from Yah.
We where we belong, we keep it on. The righteous with third of Zion.
Records embellished with heavenly eloquence.
Elohim's presence presently evident.
Intricate elements, infinite intelligence.
Spiritual specimens lyrically resonant.
People's inheritance, smaller percentages.
Carefully measured and meant to be shared.
With the message projected, cemented, embedded.
The sensible question is, what will you get from it? Made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches, cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, so searching, then working and murking. Anytime to drop my curtain with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously emerging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.